What is up, guys? Hotfix number 17 just went live on BG3, and I'm going to take a few moments here to go over the hotfix, tell you what I think about it, and also talk about the future of BG3. So I'm going to be talking about what I think is coming up in the game in patch 6, which should be the next major patch, when you can expect patch 6 to actually drop based on relevant patches in the past, as well as what is the main future of BG3. Are we going to be seeing DLC? Are we going to be seeing a major expansion? Is Lorian Studios just going to move on directly to the next game and just make no more content for the game other than patching it? That's what I'll be talking about today. So the first introduction part of this video will be me scanning through the hotfix number 17, going over the changes, and also talking about some of the issues that have been experienced on PlayStation 5 and Xbox, and what people are reporting to me, mainly because I play on PC. And then in the second part, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the future of Baldur's Gate 3 and where I see the game going. So let's go through this patch notes and see what's actually changed for hotfix number 17. Now, I want to say right at the start of this that we are right here doing a hotfix 17, but patch 5 has been 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks ago now at this point. And I highly expect before the end of January to see the next major patch in Baldur's Gate 3, patch 6. Now, Larian Studios has talked about multiple times that they will continue to patch the game for a period of time, and then they're going to take a break before moving on to the next project that they're working on. Now, that could be Divinity Original Sin 2, that could be more Baldur's Gate 3 content like a DLC or expansion, and in the second part of this video, I'm going to be talking about that specifically. But let's first scan over what this hotfix addresses. So we fixed black and colorful visual artifacts appearing for one frame on the PS5 when switching scenes or opening and closing UI windows. I will tell you from people that I get comments from every day that there are still big problems on Baldur's Gate 3 on both the Xbox, specifically with save file corruption, and the PS5, where a lot of functions just don't seem to work as well as they do on the PC. Now that makes sense, guys, because if you remember, the PC version came out, I believe it was 2 or 3 months before the PS5 version, and the Xbox version has just literally arrived. Some of my oldest videos actually are getting seen from the first time from people that have just jumped on the Xbox, and unfortunately, I have to report that a lot of people are experiencing issues on the Xbox, which is a real shame because I want everybody to experience this absolutely amazing game. Increase the compression of save files, which should fix several issues caused by large save files such as 0544. Baldur's Gate save files can be huge, guys. I have my save game folder now is in the gigabytes. It's quite huge for a save game folder. Now, I do have a typically large number of save files and a lot of honor mode save files, but still, that's a great performance improvement that they're doing, and I'm really happy about that. Reduce these as a save file by removing summons that don't exist in the game anymore. So they're just talking a little bit about how they're actually achieving these reductions in size, so that's great. Guarded against crashes caused when certain character resources, action, bonus action, superiority die were added and then later removed by a mod or cheat engine. This is an interesting thing. From what I've seen in the game and what I've done, modding is fairly stable. Actually, it's honor mode multiplayer that is having the most issues, because I've seen more bugs in the multiplayer version of honor mode, since you only have one save file, than any other run. Modded. When I played with mods, it seemed to me like, obviously there's more instability than in the base game. That's goes without saying, but I didn't see as much instability as I was expecting with mods. But on auto mode, and specifically in auto mode in multiplayer, I see a lot of desync, characters clipping through the map, a lot of things like that. So hopefully that does get addressed. When we look at what gameplay and combat got changed in auto mode, the aura of Kalazor's potent mist now properly dissipates after he's no longer in mist form. So this is a pretty tough fight in late auto mode. It isn't as bad as Orn's, but I'm actually going to be breaking down some of the auto mode fights in the late game. So definitely look forward to that. I'm going to be trying to get video footage and kind of break down what I think about each fight. I know that Kalazor actually changed in certain ways. Now I believe he has like 3 different relevant legendary actions versus his old just like one legendary action. So that's kind of cool. Gameplay and combat. Fix the camera, sometimes zooming in when jumping or casting projectile spells. So, for some reason, for me and a lot of other people have noted this problem. When you kill an enemy, the camera was just like zoom in on their body to an absurd degree. The camera has been probably the final boss of the game since day one and back in beta, and it's still a big problem. I don't know what it is about the camera. I am sure that it is difficult to balance the camera, but the issue with the camera is it is crazy. Specifically, when you're casting spells or killing enemies, the camera goes absolutely wild, and I have had a lot of issues with this. So hopefully, in later patches, that does get improved. Fix the ability to walk through open doors when you click beyond them far away. Pathfinding in the game, we kind of know this. This is a CRPG issue in general. Pathfinding has always been troublesome. It's been problems just straight up from day one. Specifically the jumping and like certain characters being left behind. We all know this issue, but hopefully, pathfinding is generally going to improve as the game gets older and older. Fix the thieves' tools in the camp chest or inventory of a companion who is waiting at camp not being accessible when lockpicking. So one of my biggest complaints in the game, one of the biggest things I would love to see changed is when you're in your search window, your inventory window, specifically being able to search items that are in your camp chest. I do not know why this functionality is not in the game. I mean, the game is incredibly well made, but that just seems to be such a big UI oversight. And it really makes things annoying. And the sad thing is, it doesn't make relevant sense to just keep everything in character inventories because I've actually lost characters. Characters have glitched out. So specifically in honor mode, it really makes more sense to put everything in the camp box where it's safe, But the problem is when it's safe is that you can't actually search what you've got. So if somebody comes into your game and they're like, do we have the risky ring? Do we have, the sword in the stone? Do we have ring of flinging? Do we have boots of stormy clamor? And they're all in the camp box. You can't just search that up and say, oh yeah, we have it. It's in this camp box. No, you got to go in and manually search each camp box. So very annoying. I've also seen a lot of situations where you will have an item, you will search for that item, it will not pop up in the search box, but then if you actually manually go in a party inventory, you will see it. So the search functionality does need some work, I'm not going to lie, and I would really like to see that because I think honestly this shouldn't be added in a mod. This should just be a base game functionality, and I really think that Larian's UI experience would improve with this one major change. UI safeguard shields saving throw is now being correctly reflected on the character sheet. Shield bash is still broken, guys, like it's been for a long time now. I'm not sure why they're saying safeguard shields. We should be talking about shield bash and why it's still broken and people are upset about it, and hopefully it gets fixed soon. So, just seeing the shield reminded me that shield bash is still broken. Please, Larian, please. Shield bash is broken, and it has been for a while now. Flow and scripting. Gale will no longer permanently leave the party if you don't offer him any magical items when talking to him, unless you're abundantly clear that you don't plan on ever doing so. So, Gale is like one of my favorite male companions, and I'm going to be going into a companion guide and kind of where I'm ranking everybody now that I have so much more time in the game. I did this way back when the game launched, like several weeks after launch, but things have changed as I've had more experience in the game. Gale's big downside, even though he's one of the strongest male companions, is that he requires magical items, and basically nobody else does. I mean, Karlach does need some Infernal Iron, but it's really easy because you're not using the Infernal Iron for anything else. Well, Gale, you're feeding him items that you may want. And it kind of sucks because in the first part of the game, like the first 2 to 3, you have to give 2 to 3, I believe it's 3 magical items before Gale will basically move past that phase. And Mistra will kind of stabilize his orb and, spoilery. But basically, this is a big pain in the ass. That's the long and short of it. And I am glad that they've kind of fixed this. because I think it made Gale be less attractive as a companion compared to other options when you basically had to give him magical items, which is a real shame because I think Gale's storyline is one of the best in the game. So I'm really glad about this change. Now that we've kind of went over all of the changes in the specific hotfix number 17, I'm going to be moving on to a character creation screen, and I'm going to be talking about the future of the game and what I think is going to be the future for Baldur's Gate 3 and what I would like to see. So here we are, guys, at character creation. I just wanted to kind of mess around here while I talk about my thoughts in the game. Specifically, my thoughts in the game regarding as to where I see Baldur's Gate 3 going in the future. And the reason why I wanted to jump into character creation here and kind of mess around was because I think this is somewhere which the game will expand in the future. So one of the mods that I've seen actually adds more races and also more playable classes. And I think that's probably what we're going to be seeing in the next year to 2 years. So we may see an expansion of more 5e D&D races into Baldur's Gate 3, which would be really, really cool. I think that would be something that we could absolutely come to see, and it would be fantastic, as well as more classes. Although our base classes are really good, I do think there's some things that kind of don't make sense. For instance, like if we go to Drow, we have 2 sub-races of Drow, but if we go to, let's say, Human, we don't have any sub-races. There's nothing really interesting going on there. I think there's definitely things that could be done there. For instance, we have the half-orc, but we don't have full orc. We don't have just a regular orc. I think there's a lot of things that Larian could do there, and that's why I kind of wanted to jump into character creation to talk about what I think we're likely to see. I do think we're likely to see a full expansion in the next 1 to 2 years. Baldur's Gate 3 is made, from rough estimates, around $675 million in the PC marketplace alone, and we don't even have figures for the PS5 and the Xbox, which could generate just as much, if not more, revenue. So it's probably going to be over $1 billion. Now, for a CRPG experience, that is absolutely bananas insane. I don't think there's been any game in the history of gaming that has generated that much money in this particular sub-niche. So they've definitely brought CRPGs out to the mainstream. They've made absolute diehard fans like myself while making content and spending a ridiculous amount of time in this game. And I do think that we are very, very likely to see a DLC or expansions. I hesitate to even call it DLC because I don't think it's going to be the traditional DLC. I think we're going to see more a full-fledged expansion. One thing that I think we could see is maybe more investigation in the Karlach's ending, or going to the Hells, or rebuilding Baldur's Gate. I think could be something that we could definitely see. I think we will definitely see more races, sub-races added in, and I think we will definitely see more classes and subclass options. One thing I also think that is going to be almost assured is that we are going to see a level cap increase from 12 all the way to 20, or at least to 16 to 18, which is, I think, going to make classes a lot more interesting. And yeah, I'm very excited. Just like Elden Ring before it and its upcoming expansion, I'm super excited to see what Larian comes up with in terms of actually adding to this game. Now, because of their depth and how much they're going to have to do, I definitely think that it will take a while. We're probably going to be talking around 1 to 2 years, in my opinion, before we see a full-fledged expansion come out. I'm sure they do have some people already working on planning it, or maybe doing the writing, but it's going to be a little while, guys, because they're going to want to make sure that it's not just kind of pushed out too early and actually harms the game and its reputation, especially since that reputation is so good. I think certain classes could also use, honestly, kind of a rework. For instance, the Dragonborn here, an amazingly looking class. Like, look at how cool this class looks. But when we go to the different sub-races, a lot of them are just basically copy pasta. Brass, gold, copy pasta. I believe it's black and copper, copy pasta. So I definitely think we could see more here. We could see a rebalancing to sub-race features and things of that nature, and maybe an addition of more backgrounds. Because I do think sometimes you role play a character, and these set backgrounds don't really envelop the whole spectrum of experiences you could have. So that's kind of what I'm thinking in the next year or two, pulling it back down to a more local scale, like in terms of the next couple months. I think we're probably going to see 1 or 2 more major patches. So probably patch 6 and probably patch 7 before they take a big break and there's kind of a hiatus until we have, a full-fledged expansion. Because I think at some point it just makes sense, after all of the console launches, to give the game a little time to rest, give the community a little bit of time to rest, and ultimately kind of gear up more for, we're going to be doing this in the expansion versus just continuing to patch and patch and patch. I think they've already done really well, and I think now, even though I would love to see more content, I think it would probably make more sense to focus on bug fixes, specifically for those players playing on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox. I think that just makes a lot of sense. And then hopefully we gear up into an expansion in the next year or two. We have a lot of games in 2024 that are going to kind of help us fill that hiatus, and we have a lot of people that we can kind of work with in honor mode, because that achievement is still really, really rare. Foe hammer is sitting at like 0.3 or 0.4%. So there's a lot to accomplish in Baldur's Gate 3, and I cannot wait for the expansion. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think, or what you think we're likely to see. And I really hope you've enjoyed this video. This has been a little bit more of a ramble, a little bit more of my thoughts on the game. Hopefully you like this, and if you do, I'll do more of these. But yeah, I just wanted to go over this particular hotfix and what I think will happen in the game in the coming months and eventually years. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. I've also opened a Discord up if you are interested in getting help running honor mode, or if you're just looking for people to play in the game. I'm leaving it down in the video description. You can join my Discord, and I will help you, or other people in the community will help you through your honor mode challenges and help you get that foe hammer achievement. I think the default Discord community for Baldur's Gate 3 is fine, but oftentimes you have people in there that are trolling or just don't really know the game that well. So yeah, hopefully this is another avenue for you to explore. Thanks again, guys, and I will see you in the next video.